I'm Alex Weathersby, and this is my web series review of Happy Playland. Happy Playland is an original musicals web series about the 3 employees of a children's indoor play space. This is a TV-style web series, but I would classify it more as a musical if I had to categorize it specifically. Some things that I really liked about this web series was I haven't really seen very many musical web series, but I thought that the way that the music played into the plot and to seeing the characters' internal desires and what they're struggling with, I thought that that was very unique. You don't really see that with a lot of independent works. I can only think of a couple off the top of my head that I've seen because a musical web series is a lot of work and a lot of money. So I was really pleased to see how it all turned out with this web series. I also really liked the depiction of panic attacks and anxiety. One of the 3 cast members in this web series, Billy, experiences anxiety to a very extreme degree. And I liked that we saw how it controlled most of her life and affected her decision making and what she was able to do. In a lot of web series especially, the representation of anxiety typically amounts to, oh, you take your medication, it's almost invisibilized until that person has actually expressed it, or we see panic attacks in a very short and one-off episode type of deal. And I think part of the reason that that is because in a vlog style series, typically a character would not film themselves having a panic attack on screen, edit that, and then put that up to the internet. So to some degree, that is understandable. But what I really liked about this web series depiction of it was they really took a lot of time to really try and express what Billy's going through when this happens. We see what types of things trigger Billy's anxiety attacks. We see how Billy really addresses her future and what she thinks she's capable of doing based on how much of a handle she has on her anxiety. I thought that that was very unique to this web series. And going through the YouTube comments, there were a lot of people who seemed like they really related to that. So I thought that that was really good and I really wanted to make a note of it. And I also really liked the setting of this web series because I think that that creates a lot of comedic opportunities and ruminations on life, especially because these characters are all sort of in a young adult phase where they're not really sure where their future is going. Having it set in a children's play space that we find out at the end of the very first episode is not doing so great financially and their time there is limited is a really nice layer of their time in childhood. Their time with not having to be responsible for themselves, to not really know what they want to do with their lives, that has a deadline. And soon they're going to be moving away from everything's about fun and everything's about happy playtime and moving on to things that are very, very scary and very, very anxiety inducing. So I thought that that was a really nice element of this web series. I don't know if this web series would have had the same vibe had the setting been somewhere like a college or a high school or someplace like a coffee shop. Something about having it be set at Happy Playland specifically just really resonated with me in terms of what the characters were going through and sort of what their next phases in life will be. I also felt that the acting was really, really great for this web series. All of the characters who participated did a really amazing job. Obviously that is not abnormal. Most of the web series I watched, there is really great acting. I just really wanted to point it out in this case because the characters and the amount of work in terms of acting and singing ability and for a little bit maybe some light dancing ability in there. It's very difficult to find actors that can have all those talents and can do all that in a very short amount of time with a lot of very restrictive financial and physical limitations. Some things that I didn't like so much with this web series was I would have really liked to see the date that Billy and Zara go on. I don't remember quite what episode that is. We see sort of Zara waiting around for Billy. We don't really get to see that actual interaction and sort of the beginning of their romance, so to speak, after they've already decided this is something they're both going to pursue. So I would have really liked to see that date and sort of see them in a more casual and chill space, and I think that for me would have made the relationship that they have and the issue that comes up towards the end of the web series that would have made the stakes a little higher for me and would have really made me root a lot harder. I also would have really liked to see more of the work that goes into running Happy Playland itself. There's definitely several scenes that show it's kind of mundane and zany and all over the place, but I would have really liked to see a little bit more of that environment, especially since that environment is what brings all three of these characters together, even though they're so different and they have such different ways of experiencing the world. I would have really liked to see a few more scenes that really got to the heart of Happy Playland. I also felt that the ending, I know, of this web series has been quite controversial. I felt like the ending stakes felt a little all or nothing for me. I'm gonna put a skip to thing here in terms of, because I don't want people to feel spoiled. I felt that the presentation of Billy's choice, where it's very either Billy takes this experience and builds her acting career, or she gets to be in a relationship with Zara and stay. And I was just really confused watching this as to why a long distance relationship was never brought up or discussed, as why it wasn't an option. Especially since Zara starts the web series as she's not even interested in a intense relationship. She's just looking for casual flings with the ladies. But now that she's taken all of that effort to change her perspective on relationships, she's not willing to even try a long distance version of that. And so that was just kind of weird for me, especially as someone where with my current partner, we've been in a long distance relationship for about a year. We've been together for almost 2 years, and we're gonna be long distance for quite a while yet, but it's very weird to me because I, in my personal experience, was not interested in being in a long distance relationship, but once I met my partner and I knew that that was going to happen, I was committed to that because I was committed to that person. So it's just very odd to me that Zara's acting as though Billy's only option is you stay with me to be with me or you leave and we break up. And I don't know if that was presented specifically to raise the stakes or if that was how Billy also perceived the experience. If long distance relationship was never an option, I guess I would have just liked to know why. And if it was not even really about the relationship so much as Zara feels like she's given up something and she wants Billy to also sacrifice something, I don't know. Everything was an either or. There were only 2 columns on your list. There were only 2 choices. And I would have really liked to see more of an actual discussion about that. I would watch this web series if you are looking for an original web series versus a literary-based web series. A huge majority of the web series that I have seen or that I know are very popular within the circles that I run in are literary-based. I think that original web series have a little bit more of a challenge because you don't already have that basic character and plot line to follow, so it takes a little bit more work. And for this web series in particular, it's also a musical, so there definitely was a lot of effort put into this web series. And if you're really looking for a original concept where you don't know the casual plot, you don't know the characters and several very obvious or basic traits about them, and you want to see something that's never been done before, then this is a really good web series to watch. In terms of an original web series and a musical web series, it is very well done. If you really like musical web series or just musicals in general, and you have been suffering through the very small amount of content that is out there for musical web series, then I would definitely give this one a try. This does a really good job of doing exactly what a musical is supposed to do. Songs in musicals are not meant to just exist for the sake of existing. They're meant to be there so that you can get a peek into the character's psyche and so that they can move the plot forward. And this web series is a very good representation of that. If you like series about working adults or young adults that are out of school, out of college, then this would be a good web series for you. College and high school based web series tend to have very different stakes. Typically, the idea of what am I going to do with my life feels a little bit different when it's presented with characters that are about to graduate or are currently studying something versus when they're actually out there in the real world and panicking. So if you're really into working adult series, this would be a good one for you to watch. If you would prefer series that have a true ensemble cast with a lot more characters, then I would probably skip this web series. There are 3 main characters that are sort of focused on, but even then, Zara and Billy definitely have a lot more more of a coherent plot and more complex characterization than Chris does. If you're looking for a web series where it's a very big cast with a lot of complexity and each character gets quite a bit of screen time, this might not be the web series for you. I would also probably skip this web series if you don't really like surrealism, having that musical element. Obviously in universe, nobody comments on the fact that they're singing or that they're expressing themselves in this way. So if that's something that really irks you and you're looking for more of a straight realism, then this might not be a web series that you would enjoy. And if you would prefer a longer series, like some of the other original web series that I've talked about, it has finished, there will not be any more, at least I am 99% certain that there will not be any more. So if you're looking for a longer series that is ongoing or a series that has a lot more layers and the plot's sort of expanding a lot more, then this is probably not the web series for you. As always, I will put the link to the web series in the description box, and if you have any comments on what I said or something that you enjoyed or disliked about this web series, then please feel free to comment, and I will see you next time.